You can't go changing the rules.
That's Joe.
Let him speak his mind. That's when you learn about people is when they're drunk. And then you realize who you're hired.
And that's Eric.
I was thinking about this earlier in the day, and I have to bring it up.
And they're two guys with two mics and one off-the-rails sports podcast.
Like, if you're older than 11 years old, unless you have body paint on or something, you're not warranted to go nuts on the jumbo
No,
street.
of course not.
Kick back and relax, because you're in the wheelhouse.
Okay, here we go. Let's go, Joe. You ready? Lots to talk about, so let's jump right into it.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready? That's the question.
My seatbelt is buckled, and I'm ready to go. We have quite a bit to talk about, especially in the NFL world.
Yeah, the NFL free agency officially opened today, so there was moves galore. The new season officially opened. We had QBs moving all over the place. We had teams planning for the future, teams trying to get better through free agency before the draft, and of course, you know, Joe, the biggest move. What would you think the biggest move is? I mean, outside of the Kirk Cousins move, because obviously that was the big fish in the pond, because he got, you know, the first fully guaranteed contract, first of its kind, $84 million, which maybe they're overpaying for him, but whatever. But outside of Kirk Cousins to Minnesota, what do you think the biggest move was?
Oh man, the biggest move in my eyes is probably more along the lines of the players that were cut instead of the players that have been picked up. You know, some of these big name players have been cut from their teams in order to avoid or to make more space under the salary cap. The biggest one affects my Packers. Jordy Nelson was released in order to make room for Jimmy Graham. It's a very, in my eyes, sad day for Packer football. Jordy Nelson, and that splits up the bread and butter combination of Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson. I mean, it's when you turn on a Packer game, you expect to see Jordy Nelson in a Packer jersey. Now it's not going to happen anymore. So that probably is the biggest move in my eyes, is the Jordy Nelson release.
Yeah, and it's we were just actually kind of talking about it before we started recording here, and it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up, dude. I mean, he was apparently with the Raiders the last day or two. That would be a pretty sick combo, dude. Amari Cooper, Crabtree, Jordy Nelson, Derek Carr throwing it to him.
I want to see him go to the Rams. And be...
They just lost Sammy.
And be Jared Goff's number one receiver. Can you imagine Cooper Kupp and Jordy Nelson on either sides of the line?
That would be probably as many white guys as you could possibly have on the field at one time.
You were going there. I knew you were going there.
You brought up. You said their names, and I was like, white guy.
another white guy.
Oh my gosh, dude! Todd Gurley, you better watch out, man.
That would be quite the duo between Jared Goff, Jordy Nelson, Cooper Kupp.
What Sean McVay could do with Jordy Nelson out there,
right?
His route running,
right? That would be quite the show out here in LA. But I really hope he doesn't end up in Oakland / Las Vegas. I don't want to see him in the black and silver.
That would look weird, dude. Seeing Jordy go from just such iconic color schemes, going from the Packers green and yellow, and then seeing him next season in the Raiders black and silver,
and kind of like at total different ends of the spectrum as well. You know, you look at the Packers, dude. You think prestige, you think excellence, you think this and that. You think of Raiders, you think good football, but you think of the bad boys. Like you think of just like, dude. Dirty.
He goes from all those home games in nice, grateful, happy Wisconsin. And I've only heard good things about Wisconsin. I've never heard or talked to anybody that said, "Oh, I went to a Packers game," and they say anything besides every single fan is the nicest person they ever met. And he's going from all those home games to playing in the black hole.
Yeah,
with probably the complete opposite of what you would find anywhere in those cities, anywhere in those football stadiums, both on the sidelines and in the stands.
Yeah, it's would be quite the change for Jordy Nelson. To be completely honest with you, I don't see that happening. I see him going to a team that is more in need of a top-notch number one wide receiver. Maybe he goes down to, I don't know. I mean, I can't see him going to Miami. They just let go of Jarvis Landry. I think he's going to a team that needs an established wide receiver and not just some team where he could be a supplemental player for their offense.
Yeah. Sticking with players that were cut, the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu was cut by the Cardinals, dude.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was he was a staple of that defense, and it's gonna be weird to see him in something other than the Cardinal red and black.
This has been one of the craziest off seasons in my eyes for the NFL,
and we're not even at draft day,
right?
Dude.
Like guys who have been staples on teams have been released. Jordy Nelson. Richard Sherman was released from Seattle. Jimmy Graham was released from Seattle. Going down the list here, Ndamukong Suh was released by the Dolphins. It's
big players, parts like big chunks of teams are just gonna be in completely new, new uniforms.
Right,
next year, dude.
DeMarco Murray let go by the Titans.
DeMarco Murray got let go to bring in Dion Lewis from the Patriots. That's gonna be a move, dude. I think what everybody thought the Titans could be this year with DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry will actually materialize this year with Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis.
I absolutely agree with you.
So many people had the Titans on this breakout year. They have the two-headed monster, and then Mariota's injuries got him again, and then the two-headed running attack never really materialized.
Right, and I mean, DeMarco Murray did have that one good season with the Titans when he came over from Philadelphia, but really took a step backwards this last season. I believe he was fighting a little bit of the injury bug, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely was never the DeMarco Murray Tennessee wanted him to be. And with this Derrick Henry, unfortunately, for DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry played well this past season, and
he pretty much stole his job
exactly,
from him at the end
and
of the year.
took a lot of snaps away from him. With Dion Lewis going over there, I think that duo, like you just said, of Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis, kind of being two different styles of running game, it's going to be a very good duo for them to go along with Marcus Mariota, who, if he could establish that pass game and establish himself within the pocket, it's going to be a pretty good team. Pretty good team.
I think their biggest thing is they just need to stay healthy.
Yeah,
man.
They're going to be a lot better than last year. I know last year they made the playoffs, but you and me both said it. They were kind of like this phony team in the playoffs.
We when we were talking about the playoffs, we both kind of talked them as if they got in. We were kind of like felt gross, and then they had to play the Patriots, so it was just why are they just take the bye, dude? This isn't going to work.
Why are you guys even there? Some of the signings that have kind of flown under the radar in my eyes have just recently occurred. Obviously recently occurred, but Jonathan Stewart going to the Giants, I feel, is huge. Giants really have never had a very decent established run game to go along with,
if any, man. Their running game has been atrocious.
Right, to go along with Eli, and if Odell Beckham and Brandon Marshall come back healthy, that's quite the core of offensive power right there. And that
you see the Odell Beckham video that came out?
Yeah. Oh, I have not seen it. I heard about it. I don't know how that's going to affect him coming into this next season, but I did hear about it. I have not seen it.
Dude likes pizza and cocaine, man. Yeah. He likes pizza and cocaine. You buy a lot of pizza and cocaine with the $20 million he's going to want in his next contract.
Yeah, he better be careful because he might lose the rest of that $20 million coming up here soon.
Lots of pizza and cocaine.
Some other signings that I feel have flown under the radar. Dante Moncrief going to the Jags. I mean, I know they released Allen Robb, but Dante Moncrief is a veteran wide receiver. He's finally going to get a chance to play with a decent offense. I mean, we all know how Andrew Luck has been kind of out of the picture these last couple of years, you know?
Andrew Luck doesn't even know where Andrew Luck is, man.
He really doesn't.
Nobody really knows what's going on with Andrew Luck. It's just kind of like a mystery. Is he even around anymore?
I don't even know if he's even on the Colts anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure
he went to like some European country for his shoulder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like in the woods somewhere and like kind of like trying to find himself and trying to like find himself with nature, and then that's going to bring him back, and then he's becoming one with Bigfoot. Like
he's out on some like spiritual journey, finding his inner football self again. Like, I don't have it anymore.
I hear
he's in like a teepee somewhere with smoke signals coming out the top of it.
Yeah, right. So Dante Moncrief, I think, is going to have a great year with the Jags. The team that I'm so surprised that has made quite the amount of moves this offseason, or just these last couple of days, are the Browns. The Browns, dude.
They finally look like they have a direction. Right.
They go and land Carlos Hyde. They land Jarvis Landry. They traded for Tyrod Taylor. I don't know how that's gonna do, what that's gonna do.
He's a bridge guy. He'll be the guy to take off some of the pressure this season off of whoever they draft. And if he even finishes the year, dude, honestly, he could if he loses a couple games, everybody in Cleveland will be calling for whoever they draft to start.
Right, and this might be the actual first year where the Browns go draft a quarterback the first round and actually sit him behind a quarterback so he could learn a little bit before throwing him into the fire.
Yeah, wow, why did it take you this long to figure this out, guys?
They just traded their number one, or their quarterback that they drafted 2 years ago, DeShone Kizer. They traded him to the Packers, so they obviously given up on that guy.
Could you imagine that come up, dude, for DeShone Kizer? To go from Cleveland and that dumpster fire to go in and sit behind Aaron Rodgers for the next couple of seasons?
He's going to be learning the position from the best quarterback in the league right now. And Brett Hundley is for sure kicking himself in the butt right now. He had his opportunity to shine and he blew it. And the Packers pretty much just traded for a younger, faster version of Brett Hundley in DeShone Kizer.
Yeah, it's an upgrade. It honestly is like, oh, look at the newer model came out.
Yeah, the new
the new model of the car's out, so let's go pick this one up and just dump this one on the we'll just leave take it to the bad part of the neighborhood, leave the keys in it, and let somebody drive away with it.
Exactly what they did with Brett Hundley. I feel bad for the guy, but he really didn't do anything for the Packers.
He blew it, dude. He blew it. He had his one shot. Like, when is Aaron Rodgers ever gonna really go down for a long period of time? And he blew it.
He really did.
It took him 4 or 5 games to throw his first touchdown pass.
It was so bad. It was like watching a high school quarterback going up against a college team. That's how bad it was. But anyways, what in your eyes is one of the bigger moves that has happened over these last couple of days?
I don't know if you could see my the sweatshirt I'm wearing.
You always wear that sweatshirt.
Oh, well, I know. Well, this one is it's just actually works because the Bills moved up, dude. The Bills moved up to number 12 at the draft. They did trade away Tyrod Taylor. So if anybody's looking for a slightly worn Tyrod Taylor jersey, hit up your boy. I may have one for you.
You'll be seeing a post on eBay pretty soon.
There's one beer stain on the 5, but that is it. But no, they traded Tyrod.
It's game worn. It's a game worn jersey.
Game worn. I won't say by who, but it was at 2 Bills games.
It was worn at a game.
But yeah, so Tyrod's out the door, which, I mean, it was always the writing was on the walls. But now, them moving up, they traded with Cincinnati to get Cincinnati's 12th pick. They flip-flop first-round picks. So they're now within striking distance of the top 5 to go after a franchise QB that's coming in this draft.
So who then are they going to bust a Cleveland Browns though, draft a quarterback and start him right away, or are they going to let him sit there?
No.
Okay, so
I don't think so because they just signed AJ McCarron.
So he's going to take a little bit of the weight off of him then.
Yeah, that's what I would assume because AJ McCarron just got out from under the Bengals behind the savior Andy Dalton. The savior. Earlier in my life, I would have said something so different about Andy Dalton, but he got the Bills to the playoffs. The Bengals keep doing Bill solids, dude. They traded with us to give us the 12th pick, and now we picked up their backup QB. So, we're basically Bills East.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Bengals East.
The Buffalo Bengals.
But yeah, AJ McCarron out of Alabama, I mean, he knows how to win. He was just stuck in Cincinnati.
You really think think he's going to be able to do anything?
Hey, man, you know what? My hopes are through the roof right now. My hopes are through the roof. To be honest, I probably would have talked crap about AJ McCarron 3 days ago. But he's on the Bills now, and he's the answer, apparently. So,
oh, my goodness.
But yeah, and then we'll go and get a QB, hopefully, somehow get into the top 5. And people are saying Josh Allen out of Wyoming. I don't know if I like that. He's a big kid. But
he is.
We'll see.
I think you guys definitely need to move up to the top 5 and try to go for a Darnold or a Rosen. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to be there at 5, but I think that would be your best bet.
I don't know, yeah. Dude, it's going to be a wild draft,
It is. It's definitely.
There's going to be a lot of movement.
Where's
the Browns have the 1st and 4th pick.
Yeah.
Like, them alone could just totally flip this whole thing.
I know, and I think that's why they built up their team this offseason, is so they could go after some young guys, allow them to develop a little bit, and then slot them in when they're ready.
Imagine this.
This is the first time, like you said, that the Browns actually have a direction and a plan, it seems like.
John Dorsey, man, coming in and just totally I heard a good analogy about like this earlier in the week. John Dorsey basically just came into this place and like, well, none of this is mine, so goodbye. And he brought in Jarvis Landry. Imagine this, dude. Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon,
Corey Coleman,
Saquon Barkley number 1. And then go get Darnold or somebody at 4.
And let him develop underneath Tyrod Taylor.
Yep. Give Tyrod a couple.
Carlos Hyde.
Give Tyrod half a season. Give Tyrod half a season.
Yeah. And then
because honestly, if they lose a couple games, people start calling for it, and then he might be forced out. But yeah, if he could get half a season without just being thrown into playing on Sunday with the bigs, dude. It'd be nasty.
Yeah, I mean, like they would be, and also,
I mean, and they're 1-31 in the last 2 years, so anything's better.
And
honestly.
Also, them signing them. I'm telling you, this is flying under the radar, and no one's talking about it. Them signing Carlos Hyde is awesome because if they go out there and get Saquon Barkley is able to sit behind him and develop a little bit as well. So again, the Browns have a plan. And you know what sucks is if they start being good, that means every Cleveland team's going to be good. Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland Browns.
I don't know how much longer the Cavaliers will be good.
True. It's soon to be the LA Cavaliers.
Saquon Barkley could be the next face of Cleveland once LeBron leaves.
I agree, and
Darnold could too.
Or if you think Rosen's going in front of Darnold,
I don't know, man. I don't think the Browns are going to take him after Rosen talking all that crap about not wanting to play there initially.
Well, who doesn't talk crap about not wanting to play? I mean, everyone's thinking it.
I think out of everybody,
he's been the most vocal about it.
And yeah, but no, I think this is me just being like a total judgmental bastard, and like not even any kind of reading into this, no inside information or anything. But I just look like if Rosen would go to Cleveland, he looks like he would fail just because he would be miserable.
I feel like
you just look at him and he's just like, wow, him in Cleveland implode.
I feel like he'd be like the next showing of Johnny Football, not to the extreme of like partying and like blowing his career, but
that's what people are saying Mayfield would be.
But to the point of like totally not caring about the game, totally not caring about trying to develop his.
I just want out of Cleveland.
Exactly. Can you
imagine, dude, being a millionaire in Cleveland? Like I think about that all the time. Like, if you're a professional athlete, you're a millionaire, right?
Well, sometimes
you're well off.
Yeah.
But then if you're a professional athlete in like L.A., Miami, New York, Boston, Texas, like you're like, yeah, but then you're like, oh, I'm a millionaire and I'm in
Milwaukee.
I play for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I both
thought about that.
We both said Milwaukee.
That's so funny. Oh, I'm a millionaire and I play for the Green Bay Packers. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, like there's like, great. What do you do there? What is there to do there? Like, why don't you have a summer home? I'm sure they all have summer homes.
Oh yeah, they're probably gone. Once the season's over, they're out. They're like, it's cold. It's about to get real cold.
Right. We're going to Mexico.
If they're not already frozen in Green Bay.
Right. So some of the moves that happened over the last couple of days that I have kind of wish-washy feelings about are some of the moves that the Rams made. Letting go of Ogletree, and then going out there and getting Hakeem Talib, and then getting Marcus Peters. What do you think?
They're nasty though, man. Their
I know
defense is going to be pretty.
It's going to be really
pretty sick.
It's just bittersweet seeing Ogletree leave, though.
Oh yeah, it sucks. Total. That's the move that a lot of people were like, "What the hell? You just signed this guy."
I know.
And he was a leader, and even like Rams players went on Twitter and were like, "Whoa, what the hell?
Right.
This business is crazy." But like they already had a pretty nasty defense, and now they got two of the best shutdown corners, DBs in the league.
Yeah, dude, I just saw this. Bills got Chris Ivory too.
Oh yeah, that was like 2 days ago. Yeah, Chris Ivory and LaShawn McCoy in the backfield, little thunder lightning action.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
Little
thunder. Feel the thunder. Oh, there's
I guess flash and rumble.
I guess there's no lightning in that song, but
no. It's a lot of Chris Ivory, I guess. A lot of Chris Ivory.
Oh Jesus!
LaShawn McCoy's probably hurt. He's usually hurt on these kind of things.
He
usually gets hurt.
All right. So again, did you say what your biggest move was of the offseason?
Yeah, the Bills.
Oh, the Bills. That's right.
Bills moving up.
That's right. Awesome. You
made fun of me for wearing a sweatshirt a lot.
I did. But yeah, this has been
man.
Quite the offseason. I know that there's going to be even more moves to come, especially when they get closer to the draft. What are your thoughts leading into the draft? Who do you see moving up to get somebody?
You know what, man? I don't even know. All I know is I feel like it's going to be a wild, wild west showdown. There's going to be trades. I feel like there's going to be a lot of trades going on.
I agree.
A lot of flip-flopping. I think the Bills I give the Bills and Browns being involved in at least 5 trades. Maybe not together, but I feel like 5 trades will happen that will involve the Browns and Bills on draft day.
Do you think the Browns move out of that number 1 spot?
I don't know, dude. They're so weird because they have the number 4 too.
Right.
So it's like, but they need the QB. I mean, I don't know. It's the thing, dude. It's like, because then you could still probably get a good QB at 4. Maybe.
See, I don't know, because I don't know if you could probably get a good QB, but are you going to be able to get the QB that you want? Now,
that's what's going to come down to, is whether or not they want Rosen or Darnold, and whether or not the 2 or 3 teams behind them, because they could even do like a flip-flop somewhere right behind them.
Right.
But it just, I don't know. That's why, dude. This is like, there's so many like just little tweaks, and the teams that have the top picks and their needs and desires, it just makes so many different weird variables that can go down.
The couple days leading up to the draft and at the draft day, it's going to be so interesting to watch.
It's always the best when Goodell walks up and is like, "We have a trade to announce."
Yeah.
Everybody's nerves. Who is it? Who is it?
I think this might be
and then it's like in the 5th round. Get out of here. We don't want to hear.
No one's even going to watch the 5th round.
Get out of here.
I think this might be the first year that, me being a Packers fan, I think they need to move up in the draft to get somebody. And whether it's a top-notch wide receiver, whether it's more defense, I feel like they're going to get lost in the shuffle this year without Jordy Nelson. You see what...
You sound a little panicky, Joe.
I am, absolutely.
You sound a little panicky. I would too, dude.
You saw what they did 2 years ago when Jordy Nelson went down. I mean, when he came...
Dude, it's going to... Like, is Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball to Jimmy Graham every play?
Well, and what's his face? Adams.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Adams.
So, but again, 2 years ago, yes, Packers made it to the NFC Championship game. I understand that. But that's because Jordy Nelson came back in the last couple of games, didn't he? Leading up to that, they barely even made it into the playoffs. They squeaked in there.
It's so, the Packers are so weird, man. I mean, and then you see how they are when Aaron Rodgers, it's like it's like there was the perfect balance. And one like stone removed is just and nothing works.
Right.
It's so weird.
And why mess with that balance? I mean, I understand you want to stay underneath the cap. I do. But Jordy Nelson was willing to take a salary cut in order to make it work. And they still released him. They still released the guy. To get Jimmy Graham. I mean, we had a decent tight end already in Rodgers.
I love the Rodgers to Rodgers connection.
Me too. Like, why is Jimmy Graham that important? I mean, he had the okay season.
It'd be interesting to see how he was used because, I mean, him coming out of New Orleans, completely different than what he was used for in Seattle. So it'll be interesting to see if the pass catching real threat, like in New Orleans, is the one that you see in the Green Bay, or you see like the pass heavy or the block heavy kind of usage that you saw in Seattle.
Well, you started seeing a little bit of his old form towards the end of the season with Seattle. You saw him start getting open for more passes. You started seeing Russell Wilson target him a little bit more often. So there was flashes of it.
He'll probably be good when Aaron Rodgers scrambles.
I think so too. That's exactly where I think too.
And then he has free range to just kind of make himself open and like wherever he is on the field.
I think they're trying to make like a Tom Brady Gronkowski matchup.
That would be pretty sick, dude. A very I feel like that duo. So you have Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Graham versus Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Which one are you taking?
Is it in the pocket or out of the pocket?
See, that's the thing. It all applies.
It's in the pocket. Like, in the pocket, Tom Brady all day.
Yeah,
out of the pocket, no one's better than Aaron Rodgers.
But then you got to bring in the tight end factor too. Mm-hmm. I feel like
I put Gronk is
in the pocket. I would give the advantage to Gronk.
Well, that's because that's Tom Brady's bread and butter right there.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess I mean, I guess they would both have their own respective ones.
The reason why I compare the two is because Gronk and Jimmy Graham. I mean, Gronk's a little bit bigger, I believe.
Yeah,
but him and Jimmy Graham are the exact same style of play. They both come from a. They both use their size to their advantage. You know, Jimmy Graham came over from the basketball side, so he knows how to go up there and get the ball, like going up there for a rebound. So if Aaron Rodgers could develop that connection with Jimmy Graham the way Tom Brady has with Gronk, it might not be a bad thing that they went out there and got him. But
no, yeah, it's honestly, if they could find the mojo, they're a nasty duo. Two freak athletes on the field together.
The only thing that I'm upset about is the fact that Jordy Nelson would have taken a pay cut to stay, and he would have taken a significant one because he loved it in Green Bay.
You know what, dude? You know where it's also cold, and you know where they love small, white, fast, wide receivers.
New England.
Perennial powerhouse.
Yeah, I know.
Winning to winning.
And I have a feeling that's where he's going to go, too.
Dude, I wonder if Bill Belichick has like a radar, like a white receiver radar. And he, like, when Nelson like got off the phone, like his little antenna came out of his Bluetooth. Beep, 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 beep. It's like somebody's at the dinner table with him. He's like, what?
Jordy Nelson just got released.
Jordy Nelson's available. Get on the phone. Get on the phone now.
That would be such a trio between Tom Brady, Gronk, and Jordy Nelson. They'd win everything. They would win everything.
Chris Hogan, another small white guy. Like, that's all. Dude,
Edelman?
We were talking about the Edelman. No, Edelman, yeah. Edelman. And then Amendola went to Miami.
Amendola just left.
Dude, so Tom Brady, white. Gronkowski, white. Nelson, white. Amendola, gone. Edelman, white.
Burkhead.
Oh, Burkhead, dude. You met.
I'm just start naming all.
Never mind. I'm not going to
start naming all the white guys.
I was going to take this on take a right, and I was thinking that we probably would end up in a pretty racist conversation, so I'm not going to say it.
All right, but so another big story going on in sports right now. Again, spring training is in full effect right now, and the one topic we want to talk to you guys about is Shohei Ohtani. And man,
that's the only thing we talk about when it comes to baseball anymore.
And man, he is not what we were hoping for. He
bust. I mean, he can't really be a bust because he was a free agent signing and not really even like a bank breaker.
Yeah.
But bust.
I mean, so far he has definitely not performed the way everyone was hoping for. He's 2 for 20 at the plate. His pitching is so.
He got lit up by a B squad, dude.
Yeah, he got lit up by B squad. He got lit up by the Tijuana Toreros.
Yeah, the Tijuana Toreros.
Yeah, something like that. But what's your take on this, man? I mean, I know my take. I'm bummed, and I'm really hoping he comes around because he was kind of this energetic spark plug that the Angels clubhouse needed, and the whole Angels fan base needed. And if he's a bust, it might be one of the worst things. What might be as bad as Josh Hamilton. It might be as bad as Josh Hamilton.
Ooh, the Josh Hamilton reference.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It might. I mean, of course, it wouldn't be as much money towards him, but just the mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, you gotta me talking to you as a fan, you gotta just peg it to a learning curve kind of situation and hope it's just a learning curve situation. It's like you're gonna come over here and be it's a totally different game. I'm sure he's coming from the Korean or he's coming from overseas and all that stuff, and he's supposed to be the best over there, but it's a different ball game over here. A lot more movement and everything, a lot more it's just. But I love it, man. I love seeing everybody squirm about it.
Yeah, you're seeing me do it right now. So a couple things on the topic. Like you said, there's a learning curve, and they compare the Japanese Professional Baseball League, the NPL, to AAA over here. So yes, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. The one thing that I am hopeful for is the kid still is only 23 years old. So he's still super young. He has time to develop a little bit. The thing is, though, that the Angels signed him hoping that he was ready to go out the gate and that he was major league ready, especially on the pitching side. So I'm hoping in these next 2 weeks of spring training that something clicks and that he's the player that they're hoping for him to be. Now, the second thing I want to mention is that the Angels have an alum that did the same thing that Shohei Ohtani did. Hideki Matsui used to play for the Angels, if you remember. If I were the Angels, I'd be getting Hideki Matsui on the phone, and I would have him at spring training kind of mentoring Shohei Ohtani, kind of teaching him the ropes, teaching him what to look for at the plate. And bringing Hideki Matsui in eliminates that whole language barrier.
If I were the Angels, I would pack it in.
Shut up.
Call it a season.
Shut up. Shut up.
No. And that's the thing, dude. It's just so crazy because you mentioned how they expected him to come in and start performing. It's no, everybody was talking what could a possible week in this guy's life and talk about how he would pitch one day, bat 3 other days, and pitch again later in the week. And now it's just whoa. Jesus, he going to be ready to do any of that? On any kind of day?
Yeah, exactly. Part of me feels like he's going to start the season in the minors. The way he's playing right now, I feel and the only reason why I'm kind of thinking outside of this way is because he'll definitely fill the stands. He's definitely going to fill the stands at Angel Stadium. But the way, from what I'm seeing him and how he's playing, I don't know if he's ready for the majors. I really don't.
Yeah, he's batting below 100. He's getting lit up. There's just honestly, it's at a point where it's gonna be. You honestly have to. You're gonna. Guess what? The season's 10 days away, right?
14 days away.
Yeah. So it's gonna hit the point where they're gonna have to make a decision, and it's gonna be one of those things where it's okay, do we rush him into this because we need him here and we don't want to avoid the PR nightmare, or do we have to put him down there and kind of wait for him to develop? And deal with all the fan backlash and the bloggers and the writers talking about what a nightmare this has been and turned into.
Yeah, right now he is batting. Actually, they don't have his stats up here. They just have his pitching stats. His pitching, he's got a 6.75 ERA. He's got... No, this can't be right. He says he only has 2 strikeouts. He struck out 8 in one game. This can't be right. Anyways, he looks like he's got a 6.75 ERA right now, which isn't good.
That's not good?
That's not good.
Oh, okay.
That's not good. So we'll see if he comes around. is definitely a big story, and it's definitely making a lot of Angels fans very nervous, and it's definitely kind of fallen off of one of these big stories in baseball. He came in here being like the highlight of the season, and
oh, dude, and now people are getting questions about like his performance. Kershaw got asked about him.
yeah.
And Kershaw's like, dude, we didn't sign him. He wasted. Kershaw and Turner were mad, dude. I read a couple of stories where they got asked about like what the process was like when they were trying to get him over there, and Turner was like, he felt like it was a waste of his time, that had already made up his mind, and he was just doing this tour. And he's like, we asked him what he likes to do more, pitch or hit, and he's like, oh, I just want to do what the coach tells me to do. And they're like, dude, we're trying to get to know you, like, and you give it like you're gonna give us the press answer? Like, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, you also got to understand he's also dealing with a language barrier, so you don't know, and he's definitely dealing with a personality barrier, so you don't know how he's interpreting how they're asking him.
You're gonna be sitting at a table with like Dave Roberts, Justin Turner, Kershaw, and you're gonna not gonna want to like just kind of be chill with them,
dude. They're major leaguers. They're like Kershaw's the great.
You're trying to sell yourself.
But think about it. If you're sitting at a table with Clayton Kershaw and Justin Turner, you're telling me that you're going to be chill? No, you're going to be nervous as heck.
You're going to give him the press answer, we went out and gave it our best, the pre-recorded one?
Because maybe he felt that was the best answer at the time. You can't sit.
I don't know, man.
You can't sit here and tell me that he's like disrespected them or anything like that with that answer.
No, I'm not saying like disrespected. I'm just saying that they felt like they made it off like it was a huge waste of time, that he went through the tour and kind of gave the teams the runaround, hung them out to dry kind of thing.
So I brought up his stats right now for the spring for his hitting. He's batting 100 exactly. He's got 2 hits, 1 RBI, 3 walks. So he's getting on base a couple times.
He's getting on base here and there. Yeah,
I'm trying to find positives here, man.
I know. I could hear you go from like, oh well, he gets on base, and then you kind of realize like a little bit. He swings the bat.
He's struck out freaking 7 times already.
Oh gosh. Oh no. I didn't even know that.
He's struck out almost half his at bats.
Dude, ouch.
God, I really hope this guy comes around. I hope so.
Dude, that's rough.
You know what else is rough and tough and stumbly and bumbly and crowded? The bottom of the playoff picture for the NBA and the NHL.
I was like, I'm trying to think, like, where have you been recently? I'm like, where'd you go to dinner at? I go to medieval times for dinner?
I just don't want to talk about Ohtani anymore.
I know, you're like, we need to get out of here. I'm getting kind of sad, actually.
Let's talk about the NBA. Let's talk about the NHL. The season is coming.
Playoffs.
The regular season is coming to the end for both of these leagues. And in the West, it is a log jam at the bottom of the playoff picture. And
yeah, the West is a can of sardines in both the NHL and the NBA right now.
Absolutely. But with that, I feel like this is the best time to play who's in and who's out. So what we're going to do, fans, is me and Eric are going to rattle back teams to each other, and we're going to determine if they are in or out of the playoffs with some reasoning behind it. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just be like, because we feel like it. But we'll do our best to give you some insight.
Or we say, is this team in? And we say,
no.
No. Why?
I don't know.
I don't really know anything about that team.
Probably what's going to happen.
Probably why they should be out, because I would at least know something about them, right? I mean, we would hope.
All right. So do you want to start in the NBA or the NHL?
Let's do the NBA because I'm watching NBA right now.
Are Lakers still down 10?
They are down 13.
Oh, Jesus.
With a minute left. It's gonna be a loss. And
they played so well in the first half. So well.
Yeah, back and forth. Lonzo Ball looked decent.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Julius Randle and Isaiah Thomas got in a fight.
Like with
not a real like shoving match,
with each
but
other?
like they had to get separated on the sidelines.
Really?
Yeah, like it looked like Isaiah was kind of giving Randle a little bit of a mouthful, like a talking to, and Randle wasn't having it.
I saw a stat while I was watching the game. since the All-Star break, Randall is one of only 4 people to average 27 points, 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. The only other 3 are LeBron, the guy from Milwaukee. I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, that guy.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
LeBron, him, and Westbrook are the only other 3.
You know why Randall's doing that? Because he wants to play with LeBron next year.
I know, and the Lakers
in Los Angeles, he's like, don't trade my ass and bring LeBron over.
The Lakers need to keep him. He's actually playing his best ball that he's ever played, and they just lost 117-106. Randall
was on the screen
22 and 10. He's balling it up right now.
He's balling out, man. Doesn't want to get traded.
All right. So with that, in the West, from the number 3 spot down to the number 10 spot, it's separated by 4 games.
Cluster F.
So
it's like a you know how like rattlesnakes and snakes have sex? That's what it is right now. Like you don't know whose arm's what.
I have no idea how they have sex.
You've never seen? It's like a ball of snakes, dude. It's really weird.
What do you watch?
Look it up.
Why are you watching that?
Animal Planet. Learning channels? Are you kidding me? Just look up weird animal sex. I watched the Animal Planet.
National Geographic?
God, Joe. Planet Earth, dude. Planet Earth is crazy. The ocean episodes. Ocean is the scariest thing in the world.
You ever
dude.
watch that show Life? I think that's what it's called. Life. The reptile episode of that is really good.
Yeah, where it was a snake or like an iguana running away from other iguanas.
Yeah, that was a really cool episode. And the deep sea one of Life as well is really good.
Oh, dude, the ocean is the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah, it really is. You know, they say only 10% of the organisms in the ocean have been discovered.
Yeah, we know more about space than we do about the ocean, dude.
No, space doesn't exist.
Oh God, Earth's flat.
It is.
Oh God, I hope you're joking.
I'm not.
Oh no,
I've never seen a curve of you.
Oh God, start naming the teams.
All right,
start naming the teams.
First team I'm going to rattle off to you. LA Clippers. Are they in or are they out?
I'm going to go. So right now they're in 7th.
They are.
But I'm going to go with they're out. Mainly because I see teams that should be in. So I need to make a spot somewhere. And the Clippers look like they should be. I mean, the Clippers are Clippers, you know? They're going to clip themselves. And DeAndre Jordan's going to carry them into the playoffs.
Yeah, the reason why I might have to disagree with you is just based off of the way they've been playing as of late. You know,
Lou Williams is good.
Lou Williams is balling it up, and they're 7-3 over their last 10. So I definitely don't want to see them in the playoffs because I'm a Clipper hater. But yeah, I'm gonna go out too, just because I don't want to see them in.
They're the Clippers, you know. Like we could try to spin it as however we want, but it's like they're the Clippers.
They are.
And there's a team outside that I think will eventually figure it out because they're that team. So,
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah, you definitely. I think everybody should. If I explain it like that, all the pieces should connect eventually.
Yep. Are you gonna give me one, or am I gonna?
Oh, I'm giving you one. Okay, I'll go. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Currently in 4th place.
Currently in 4th. They're 2.5 up.
2.5 up on 9th.
I'm going to say they're in just because they have the star power to keep them in with Westbrook, Carmelo, Paul George. If those 3 have anything to say about it, I feel like those 3 are like super competitive, especially Westbrook. I think those 3 keep them in the playoff picture.
Okay, here we go. Thunder remaining schedule. Clippers.
Win.
Dude.
That's going to be a good game.
No, hold on. But I'm looking at it. It's going to be close whether or not they're in or not because they got some games coming up. Clippers at Toronto.
Oof.
At Boston.
Eesh.
Home for Miami.
The win.
Home for Portland.
Oh, jeez.
At San Antonio. Home for Denver.
They should beat that.
At New Orleans. Home for Golden State.
Oh, my God.
In Houston. In Miami. Home for Memphis. So there's what, like 4 wins in there, maybe 4 for sure, and the rest are battles.
There's maybe 3 for sure. I'd say the Denver one is for sure. I say there's 4. I say Denver for sure. I say both Miami and Memphis.
Yeah, and then Pelicans will give them a game, and then they have Houston.
They have Golden State. They have San Antonio.
They have Golden State, San Antonio, Boston, and Toronto. Still the number 1 and number 2 in the East.
That might be the toughest schedule, the remaining schedule.
That's a murderer's row, and they're trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule. I still think they find a way to stay in though.
You have to. Russell Westbrook, I love Russ, dude. I love him. He's balls to the wall, in your face, aggressive. But like if he were to miss the playoffs with that team,
right? Like I feel like him signing there is a waste of time,
dude. Like, and then you just know, and he's the kind of guy, like persona wise, where when he gets asked about that stuff, it's just gonna make it so much worse.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
He just makes it fun to watch too. He makes it so much fun to watch.
I wish he would succeed, man.
Yeah.
I wish him and KD beat the Warriors when they had that lead.
Yeah. I would
back 3 years ago, dude. I wish they would have closed them out.
I wish that they were super good when it was him, KD, and Harden on a team. And they
imagine how different a life we would be having right now if the Golden State Warriors lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder,
right?
in the Western Conference Finals a few years back.
I know.
Oh my god!
I know.
Does KD leave?
The Bulls would still have,
are the Warriors as good as they are now?
The Bulls would still have the best record of all time,
dude.
It'd be an insane, different world. All right, so
what about Utah?
We both have Clippers out. Do you have OKC in?
I have OKC in as like an 8 seed.
Okay, I have them in
on the bubble.
I have them in like as a 6. Utah. They're playing so good lately. They're playing so good.
Donovan Mitchell's nasty.
What's their remaining schedule look like?
Their remaining schedule is Phoenix, win. Sacramento, win. Hawks, win. At Dallas, win. At San Antonio.
Tough.
Tough. At Golden State.
Loss.
Home Boston, lost. Home Memphis,
win.
At Minnesota, tough. Lakers, tough. Clippers, tough. Lakers, tough. Warriors, Portland.
So that's a pretty decent schedule.
But they got a lot more cupcakes in there. They have the Suns, the Grizzlies, the Hawks.
Yeah, but I think they have a lot more. Them being where
they're also not as good.
Right, and them being where they're at in the standings as well. Like already on the bubble.
Yeah, like they have a couple cupcakes here in the next couple games where they have to put them away. Like if they struggle against Sacramento,
right? All right,
like if they struggle in Sacramento, Phoenix, and Atlanta, like 3 gimme games in this point of the season, then they don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
All right, so I'm gonna have them in, but just because I have the Clippers out and there's a team that's not in that I see making it
in. Final one, you want San Antonio?
San Antonio, I think makes it in.
Yeah.
Especially if Kawhi comes back. If Kawhi comes back,
that's one of the things, dude.
They could make it in.
It's like the Detroit Red Wings when they were on that stupid long stretch. It's just like you kind of figured they'd find their way in, even if they were on the bubble, because it's like, okay, they still have Kawhi, they still have Pop, they have LaMarcus, they should be able to figure it out. Patty Mills,
right.
They have Tony Parker still.
I think
things have to figure it out, right? Let's go through their schedule.
The X factor is Kawhi coming back and playing the way he knows how to play.
I mean, and I feel like they should even be able to figure it out without Kawhi. They're the Spurs.
He's their glue to that whole team.
Yeah. Okay, so San Antonio. Home. Sorry. Home for Pelicans.
Tough.
Home for Minnesota.
Tough.
Home for Golden State.
Tough.
Home for Washington. Home for Utah. Jeez. Oh my gosh. At Milwaukee. At Washington. Home for Thunder. At Houston. At Clippers. At Lakers. Home for Portland. Sacramento. And then Pelicans. They have the hardest one.
That's the toughest schedule.
They have the hardest one.
Oh my goodness. I'm maybe not.
They have the hardest one. We thought the Thunder was bad. That was awful.
After hearing that, I don't know.
Yeah, that might be, dude. They might miss it. They have one gimme game against the Kings.
That's it. That's it.
Pelicans, Timberwolves, Warriors, Wizards, Jazz, Bucks, Wizards, Thunder, Rockets, Clippers, Lakers, Trailblazers, Kings, Pelicans.
Literally, the only two games that aren't against a playoff team right now are the Lakers and the Kings. Every other team,
and the Lakers will give them a run for their money because the Lakers are playing for next season.
right? Well, no, yeah, but the Lakers are playing great right now. But I mean,
dude, that's so hard. I don't know if they make the playoffs.
I don't know either. After hearing that schedule, I don't think so. Maybe.
Maybe not, dude. I'm gonna go with the streak because they have a crazy long streak going on right now too, of playoff appearances. But I don't know, dude. After that schedule,
and they're not playing good over the last 10. They're 3-7 over the last 10.
I mean, and they're already out, so they have to make up ground somewhere.
Yeah.
So and they have a murder. They have the murderers row.
Yeah, I'm saying they're out. They're out.
I think that's a bubble burster right there. Looking at that schedule.
Yeah. Dang.
And their gimme games are two of the last 5.
Right.
So it's not like they can gain some momentum. It's like, no, here's a Wizards Oklahoma City back to back.
Right.
Or here's a Rockets in Houston.
And then they got to go to Portland, I think you said, who is 10-0 over the last 10 games.
Yeah, no, San Antonio, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, I think your playoffs run is done.
No playoffs for San Antonio.
All right, last team for the NBA that I want to discuss is Minnesota. And if Minnesota can get hot in these last couple weeks,
they need Jimmy Butler back.
They do. They do.
But that's the thing. It's one of the things where it's like Kawhi's situation. Well, not after what we just talked about, but if they could just kind of teeter-totter while Jimmy Butler's recovering and hopefully comes back.
Right. Exactly. And they need to just kind of hold steady right now, like you said. And they just kind of need to just prepare themselves for when he gets back. Is there any news?
And they should be able to.
Is there any news on when he's coming back?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. But they should be able to, dude. I mean, they have Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns anchoring them, So it's they're in a better situation, I feel like, than most teams if their star went down because they have two other really reliable and capable stars to back them up.
And they do have a little bit of veteran presence on that team as well to kind of hold them steady, I guess you could say, to kind of kind of relax the other players' minds. So I definitely see Minnesota getting in. If they could get Jimmy Graham back before playoffs, I see them making a deep run. I see them getting to the semis, and if not, past the semis. Because I think Minnesota's a great team with Jimmy Butler on them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anything else you want to talk about the NBA?
No.
Let's go to the NHL.
I think we're good. That was a lot of basketball.
Let's go to the NHL. This is where it gets personal. Because
I might have to break some hearts.
Because our Kings are on the bubble and have been for quite some time. Let's pull up the conference standings. So, right now, the Kings sit in third place in the division, which is in a playoff spot. But we are...
Everybody in the Western Conference right now has... Oh, no, I guess never mind. I was looking at the wrong column. I was like, wait, why does everybody have 69 or 70 points? And I was like, wait, that really is a lot close. I was like, that really is a lot closer than I thought it was. I was like, I knew it was close, but that's stupid close.
Yeah.
Okay, let me scroll over a little bit. Okay, there we go.
So, yeah, so the Kings right now are sitting on 82 points. They're tied with the Ducks for third place in the division. We are winning the tiebreaker. The one thing that I like, though, is that we do have one more game to play than the Ducks do. We've played 70, the Ducks played 71. But the West is so good this year. It is so good, with Nashville being at the top of the standings for the West. Vegas is playing great. They've kind of fallen down a little bit from in recent games. But you look at the Central, Nashville, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado, solid from the top to the bottom. St. Louis as well is still in the picture. Let's play a little bit of who's in, who's out.
Yeah, you have really three teams outside of the wild card that still can make a push to get into a wild card, even into their division playoffs. And the thing is, I think the Central is going to really,
I think Central takes both wild cards.
Yeah, hog up those wild card
agree.
spots. So for the Pacific, it's going to come down to you need to get in via your division because, Dallas and Colorado are both playing really well. I mean, they only have a couple points on the Ducks in Calgary, but I really don't think the wild card's going to go to the Pacific.
Neither do I. Especially the way they're playing, and especially Colorado sitting on 69 games played, and having those 2 extra games in hand to pick up an additional possible 4 points. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. I definitely agree with you that the Central is going to hog up the wild card, which means that for the Pacific, it's going to come down to winning 1 through 3 in the division. And
they're not going to the Knights are going to win the division.
Yeah, well, yeah,
they
they're
got 10
up 10
points in hand on second, so it's going to come down to who can come in second and third.
Right, and if the Kings land that 3 spot, it leads up that Kings San Jose matchup given playoffs, like always.
Yeah, dude. Always. We got that rivalry. We got that hatred because of we always meet in the playoffs.
Right, absolutely. So, again, let's play who's in, who's out. And I'll throw one out to you right now. The Kings, are they in or are they out?
I'm going to say they're in because all they're missing, dude, is they just need to learn how to open games with a lead. They keep giving up the first goal, and they're atrocious. They've given up the first goal like in 30-something games this year.
We're always playing from behind. Always
playing from behind. But then the thing is, the silver lining of this is they fight back and they manage to steal points like they did yesterday against the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Went down 3-0, 3-1, managed to claw back, tie the game late, and steal a point. We almost won the game in overtime to take 2, but it's like the resiliency is there. If they could just get locked in early, I think that we could go on a run and go on a really deep playoff run. So I'm going to say they're in. And they say they figure it out. They're too veteran. They have too many seasoned guys, for them to fall out like this. Like Kopitar and Doughty, Quick, Brown, Carter. I think they'll get everybody in order at the perfect time of the year.
It's funny that you mentioned Quick because I was just going to bring him up. He is definitely not playing the way that Jonathan Quick knows how to play. I mean, usually his goals against average is in the low 2s, if not high 1s. He's looking at a 2.44 right now. His save percentage is usually around 9.7, 9.8. He's looking at a 9.22. What's up with this guy? How come is he injured? Is he just not up to par? What's his deal?
I think team-wise it's been just different, dude. They're not as defensively reliable, which a lot of it, they're not as clean in the front of the net. Quick will make the first save a lot of times, but sure, he has been sloppy at times, but I think it's just team-wise. They're just a lot as defensively sound as they have been in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you're making. I think they have a pretty young defense, don't they? I mean, besides Phaneuf and Doughty.
Yeah, they have young guys, but they still have Jake Muzzin and Martinez, but these young guys are paired up with old guys, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem. I think it's just team-wise, they're adapting to this new style of speed and hockey and energy, offense first kind of thing.
Do you also think it might just be a little bit of bad luck as well, just kind of getting the bad bounces as well?
Could be, yeah. They've been losing a lot of goalie challenges, a lot of goalie interference and stuff, so they definitely don't have puck luck on their side right now. Okay,
so I definitely would love, obviously being a Kings fan, would love to see them in playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and say they're in. Just
I'll give you
straight
one, Joe.
bias.
What about the Chicago Blackhawks? Oh, wait, they're going to be out. Just had to get that out of my mind.
They actually might.
They're awful.
They might be eliminated here in the next couple of games, right?
Yeah, they're probably a couple points from by somebody in their division to be eliminated because.
It's funny.
Gosh, dude,
I'm looking at
sub 500.
I'm looking at the stats right now, and Vancouver sits at 59 points, and it shows an E for eliminated. Arizona sits at 57 points, but there's no E for eliminated. So I don't know if that's a typo or what.
Oh, because they have 2 more games. Probably. They probably still get if they go on a run, Joe, and somebody starts losing.
Yep.
Watch out for the Coyotes. They've actually been playing really good. They're 18-3 or some out crazy numbers since the start of the year.
Well, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, they're on like a little bit of a run here in the last like handful of games. Wrong, too little, too late, but you know.
You know what I do like about the Kings though? Looking at their numbers right now, they have the least amount of goals against in the Pacific. So if they could get their offense going, they could start piling up the wins.
Let's go through the Kings' rest of their schedule. And let's end with this because we're already late. We basically did this hockey talk, or we brought up the hockey just to talk Kings.
I think so too.
Okay, so the Kings' remaining schedule: Detroit, win. Devils, tough.
Yeah.
At Minnesota, tough.
Mm-hmm.
In Winnipeg,
Tough.
could be a loss.
Yeah.
Colorado,
We tend to play Winnipeg pretty well though.
Mm-hmm. At Edmonton, that could be a win. Calgary could be a win. Arizona
Should be a
win.
win.
Should be. At Ducks, tough. Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas.
Tough schedule. But
A lot of teams are in the race right now too.
well, that's the thing. You look at their schedule, and at this point of the season, most of their games are going to go up against the Western Conference. And out of the teams in the Western Conference, only maybe 4 of them are out of the playoff picture. So all your games against the Western Conference are going to be tough at this point.
We need to win like those Arizona games. We have Arizona 1. We already had that one. So we have them one more time. We need to win those games like against Arizona and Edmonton. Dude, Edmonton fell off completely this year.
We need to win every game against the Pacific Division, no matter what. No matter what.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And keep it in regulation. No 3
right,
points.
Right, exactly.
And hope every other Pacific Division game is won in regulation by somebody.
Yeah. Well, let's pick it up next week and see where they're at, and let's hope that they.
We have every team will have probably about 3 or 4 games, and we'll see where they're trending, dude. We could be talking. We could be eliminating the Spurs by this time next week.
Yeah, we could be. We could be eliminating teams like Denver, possibly as well.
Yeah. San Antonio, dead man walking.
Yeah.
Sorry, Spurs fans. It's going to be a rough one.
But until next time, fans, thank you for the support. Follow us on Twitter at ITWHpod. I'm at JoeHill587.
I'm Eric. And my Twitter handle is _Roberts11.
All right, sports fans, that's all we have for you tonight. Pick us up next week. We'll see you guys later.
Later.
Skoo-hoo-wah-hoo-whoop.